Hello. So today I wanted to show off some League of Legends tools that I've made um, using the League of Legends API and some data science, data engineering. Um, so let's get right into it. So this is a grid where you can select the patch that you want to analyze, enter some champions that are like getting picked during champion select, and then you can see, so if champion select is finished, you can see with the top two buttons who's won champion select according to the model. And if the champion select is not fully filled and you're picking your champion, then you can click recommend champions and it will give you all of the champions that are recommended to play in that team composition and against the enemy's champions. So yeah, then if you visit the website and then if you want to read about how the model works, then there's the instructions and how it works here. It's probably too long to go through in this video, but essentially it was trained off of playoffs data at the end of last season, and then it was tested in the World Championships, where it finished the World Championships with 60% success rate at predicting the winner after champion select finished. So pretty happy with that. Okay, so let's fill out a champion select grid. So put Camille at top, put Gragas in jungle, put Sylas mid, let's put lane opponent as Caitlyn, let's give them Braum as a support, and we'll take Renekton, we'll take Lilia, we'll take Twisted Fate. I play AD carry, so I'll pick the AD carry. Let's say I'm going to play with Janna. So we are the red team, so we click recommend champions for the red team, and then we find the first sort of AD carry or champion that fits our champion pool. So for me, it would be Kai'Sa, which would gain us 6 evaluation points for the red team. So negative is good for the red team, and positive would be good for the blue team. So Kai'Sa would be our first pick, and if that's banned, for example, we'd go for Miss Fortune. So we'll put in Kai'Sa, and then we can evaluate the champion select. So if you read the instructions, it says, any number above minus 3.5 is a blue team win prediction, and anything more negative than minus 3.5 is a red team prediction. So we've got a number which is more negative than minus 3.5. So this means the red team is predicted to win, which is obviously what we want as a red team player. And if we want to understand why it's predicting a red team to win, we can click on explain, and then we can see, for example, so Camille, so remember, any positive number is good for the blue team, any red number is good for the red team. So Camille actually counts as Lilia. We've got the win percentage for Camille here, so the win percent corresponds to the first champion, over a sample size of 677 games. Gragas beats Lilia, Camille beats Lilia again. Why is that appeared twice? I think this is because on patch 10.25 there was a hotfix patch, so I think that's why it's appearing twice. 99% sure that's why. And then the reason others aren't duplicated is because the statistical significance probably isn't there yet. So yeah, that's why. Okay, and then we see that in terms of synergy, the red team is the only one which has some synergy, and synergy is a lot less valuable than counter-picking your opponent. So as a rough rule of thumb, it's worth about a quarter. So there's some synergy between Twisted Fate and Janna, excuse me, and the rows appear twice here, just because it's a cross join, which is what happens in engineering. So these have actually been divided by 2, so we're not double counting. And Kai'Sa and Renekton have some synergy as well. And then on the blue team, Gragas and Sylas actually have negative synergy. So they've played 70 games together with a 37% win rate when they're both on blue team. So yeah, that's good for the red team as well, hence a negative number here. And then we see that Silas against Janna has a bad win rate. Silas against Kai'Sa also has a bad win rate. So these are the points we were trying to accumulate earlier. And we have Caitlyn is bad against Janna. And then yeah, because there's actually two mini patches. Kai'Sa's actually appearing twice. So yeah, that's probably a bit of a bug. But in this situation, both teams have one duplicated row each, so hopefully not too bad. Okay, so that's the idea anyway. Not every patch has a hotfix patch, so yeah. I wasn't actually expecting that when I made this video, so yeah, that's that. Then we also have a show blind picks option. So what this table shows is it prioritizes and how many counter picks exist against the champion. So in this case, it says Taliyah is a great blind pick because there's no champion that exists which is statistically significant at beating her. And then we have general strength would be incorporated into the number of favorable matchups, and also the counterability number. Probably need to change that if I can barely say it. So Olaf is probably the strongest. Yeah. So because he has a statistical advantage against 75 champions, but gets countered by just 2. So this is a pretty good table to get assess the general strength of champions. Yeah, I guess the only takeaway would be, the only drawback would be if 55 of these champions were pretty much never played. That would be, and then you lose to the 4 or 5 meta champs. That would be annoying. So just something to bear in mind. But yeah, one's near the top, pretty safe. Not going to get hard counted too bad. Yeah, and then you can always go back into here. So if I just clear this out, actually I'll just refresh the page, it's probably easier. So if we did want to find the counters to Renekton, show counters to select a champion, and we can see that Renekton really struggles against Swain, Zed, Darius. Yeah, with 26% win rate against Swain, which is terrible. 41 against Zed, 41 against Darius. And then yeah, these are the points you're giving up if if the enemy team picks those champions. Cool. So that's champion select. Then we also have runes. So I'm on the preseason patch. Type in Kai'Sa. Select summoners, select runes. So here, just the way I designed the champion selector model, I don't use this method of statistics, but yeah, the champion select model's kind of set in stone now. I don't want to change it, but yeah, they work a bit differently. Anyway, so and this is the hotfix patch that I mentioned earlier. That's why there's duplicates appearing. There's also duplicates for the summoners page, in the sense that flash and heal can get swapped around. Heal and flash, they're essentially the same thing, but yeah. So here we can see that the minimum value that we have 95% confidence in, when you have Kai'Sa, heal and flash, you're going to have 51.4% win rate at least. And then we see that the observed win rate is a bit higher, 52, 53. So that's what's going on here. So as a default, you're probably going to want to go with heal and flash. And then there are situations where, so flash and exhaust, according to this, is a bit worse. However, you do see that the observed win rate is quite high for flash exhaust. So there might be very specific matchups where experienced players, because my data is mainly based off of the very highest skill levels, they're choosing exhaust in situations where exhaust is clearly better. Same with cleanse. It might be versus Leona, for example. But the sample size is just too small that we can't say that it's generally strong, but it's just situationally strong. So a bit of a drawback there, but that's potentially what's going on. And then runes. So runes are not showing up. Okay, wasn't expecting that, but I'll fix that, come back to it. Then we also have items. So if we stick with the Kaiser example, so what's going on here? So we have an item performance rating. This is based off of, so with some websites, they will tell you that if you have an item such as Magi Soul Stealer, you're going to win 70% of the games. That's not, well, it's quite obviously not true. What happens in that case is that people only buy Magi's when they're really far ahead, and they often sell it before the game ends if they don't have more than 10 stacks on it, which basically means at the game end, if someone is holding a Magi's, then it's highly, highly likely that they've won the game. So we have to abstract a bit, and I call that the luxury item problem. If you get really far ahead and then you buy a GA to protect your bounty, for example, on AD Assassins, GA has a really high win rate, but did buying a GA actually contribute to you winning the game? The answer is probably no. You probably won the game earlier on from your other decisions, from your pathing your kills, your team fighting, dodging skill shots, etc. So what this does is it takes so at the start of the game, everyone has 10% of the gold in play, 500 gold each. And what this does is it takes your percentage share of gold at the time of purchase, and then it compares it to how much gold you had at the end of the game. So the idea here is like, what did you purchase? How fed were you at the time of the item purchase? And then how fed did it make you at the end of the game? So we see that, for example, Stealth Ward and Doran's Blade are the most common sort of purchasing items. And yeah, it likes this. They are the best at sort of increasing your gold percent. Then Cull comes in next. Pots and refillable next. And then yeah, the sort of the core items are down below. So Manamune is the highest sort of mythic or legendary. Kraken Slayer is the highest mythic. I think that's what it's called. Don't know. Which gives you 6% extra gold compared to when you buy it to how you end the game. Then Boots 2, Zerkers. And then, so obviously we can't buy Gale Force if we're going to commit to Kraken Slayer. Then we have Collector, Runards, Stormrazor, Infinity Edge, stuff like that. So you could go down this list and pick out the best performing items. That's what I do now. So yeah, that's the idea behind the items. Which items generate you the most gold, get you fed, and win you games. Because when you look at the data, the team that has a gold lead, so if you have a 51% gold lead, if your team has 51% of the gold in play, you're going to win the game 87% of the time. If you have 52% of the gold in play, you win 98% of the time, and 53%, you're going to win 99.6% of the time. So gold is heavily linked to winning the game. So the idea here is what's going to generate you the most amount of gold, and yeah, because gold, it encompasses things like kills, assists, neutral objectives, farming CS, farming jungle camps, stealing enemy jungle camps. Gold, it encompasses a lot. So yeah, that's the idea here. So I think another champion I have a bit of experience on, Camille, for example, yeah, enjoys Cull as well. Trinity Force. I think I remember noticing that like Tiamat and Ravenous were quite high up, because it obviously makes farming just so easy. So they're pretty high up. So yeah, I think that's everything I want to show. I'll make a follow-up video about the runes. I'm not sure what's going on there. I think the sample size is too small for its current method of calculation, but I'll make it like from season 10 data, and then I'll fix that. So yeah, hope you enjoy. Hope you like using the tool. Um, yeah, see you next time. Bye.